but the Most High God comes first. And going to talk about the straight up lies that I guess Warner Brothers is employing with its shills. Now, this is an article written by Zoe Miss Kelly saying, unless DCU Superman dies overnight, it's a shoo-in for $3 billion record. Yeah, that's the kind of craziness that they're talking right now. They're talking crazy. Warner Brothers is panicking because they know Superman is going to die. I want to show you something else. Well, of course, we know about this, that Jor-El tells Superman to conquer Earth and to basically fuck every woman alive so that he can spread his Kryptonian seed. Tell me if that's not, to eliminate humanity and to kill anyone who, doesn't do his will, right? And what's so crazy about this whole thing is what's much different between Jor-El's strategy here and General Zod's strategy. You know what I mean? And it's just crazy. I mean, it's crazy. It's evil, but that's where Gunn goes. Gunn seems to be just trying to pile up every single negative thing he can about Superman. It's almost like, how can I fuck over this character? How can I make this character look stupid? How can I make this character look insignificant? I think Gunn was on a campaign to try and make Superman insignificant. And these shills, these ass kissers, right? They're going along with it, knowing that they're betraying the character. And we talked a lot about this in detail, that this is a parody, that this is not Superman that's being represented, but a version that Gunn came up with Superman to cripple him, to emasculate him, to strip his powers down, strip his abilities down, make him codependent on people to save him. And just because he's saving a couple animals and people in the movie, and he seems like someone who's empathetic, people are buying into it. Some people. Now, here is another blatant lie. I actually published on this, and I'm going to just tell you guys right now. So, Superman on the numbers, and for those of you who don't know what the numbers is, the numbers is this website here I'm about to bring up. There you go. So this is the numbers. And the numbers, they had, oh, I can't even click on Superman. Interesting. Oh, it's coming up. Okay. Right. So the numbers had a published, they published this figure for Superman. I remember seeing this because somebody actually quoted the numbers that the international box office actually, wow, the international box office was 159 million, if I remember correctly. So it was higher than this. So when this other person took the snapshot of the numbers, it's now 156 million, which is a little bit more than the international box office. Those were actually manufactured figures, ladies and gentlemen. The actual figure is 95 million worldwide, international box office, and at present it is on 155 million domestically. Now it's at 166 domestically. So this is the updated figures here from the numbers. Now, Box Office Mojo did not have those numbers. Box Office Mojo has these numbers right now, I do believe, because you have to go to Box Office Mojo. Box Office Mojo also is much more dependable because you get more verifiable numbers there. So here's Box Office Mojo, and I do believe they have something for Superman there. There you go. See, these are the figures here in Box Office Mojo. So Superman worldwide has only made 261 million or 262 million so far. Internationally, it's 95 million. Now, over this coming weekend, domestically, this is what it's been doing. So let me see if I can find Yeah, domestically. So Friday made 56 million, Saturday made 31 million, 37 million, Sunday made 31 million. You see the numbers going down. Monday made 12 million, Tuesday made 17 million. I think this is an inflated figure. Somebody needs to check this properly because this made more on a Tuesday. And Tuesday is what we call, discount Tuesday, where you get, tickets for a reduced price. Well, this is even more than Jurassic World Rebirth. Jurassic World Rebirth made 15 million. So I find that unnaturally high, but we're just going to leave it as it is. Whatever the numbers are, the numbers are. Wednesday, 11 million. So the numbers are going to go down incrementally. Okay, I believe Thursday will be a little lower than 11 million, and then Friday it might go back up. But the thing about it is, domestically, it's doing okay. It's doing okay. All right. But internationally, it's not doing that great. Internationally, it's still at, as you can see, $95 million. But they lied on the numbers and they said it was 196 million. I think you saw there. There it is somewhere here. There it is, 156 million, and that's a lie. It was 159 million. They kept on adjusting the numbers. And someone did this again to try to inflate the numbers to make it look like Superman was doing very well. Because people are saying that over this weekend, Superman will make $500 million. I don't see that happening. I see Superman bottoming out. I want to go see the Smurfs over this weekend, but I have a family get together, so I don't know if I'll be able to do that. But I want to see Smurfs. That would be cool. You know what I mean? So yeah, this is the number value that's been there for a good minute. So there you go. See, they now lined it up. All right. So yet another lie. So they keep on lying. They talk about, how Superman is the highest grossing, what was it, Superman movie or something, or movie since, what was it, Aquaman or some kind of craziness like that. And it's not. The Batman is higher. So you have to really take everything that these people publish in the media now with a pinch of salt because they're trying to overhype the thing. You can see they're in desperation mode. Man of Steel is a movie about Superman, his origin, and his conflicts. Gunn's movie is DC's Guardians of the Galaxy with a guy who parodies Superman, who does not star in his own movie. It's true. I mean, this movie is shit. So anyway, let me get to Twitter here real quick. I had some decent laughs on here because some of the shit was funny. All right, John Baker. The world engine was literally terraforming the entire planet, so where would they evacuate to? Such an unintelligent take. Jason L.A. Playboy says, here they come with another terrible take. These are two Marvel guys, though. So there we go. Hold on.
A huge negative for you. I would be remiss if I did not ask this. A huge negative for you. In Man of Steel is the 9/11 level amounts of destruction.
Yep.
There is just as much or more in this movie. Is it okay?
Factually incorrect.
Metropolis literally splits in half.
How many people die? Oh, we got a whole scene evacuating everybody. Oh,
Write it differently.
We see somebody carrying their turtle onto a fucking bus. That's
And like
how
I just
important-
said, the bridge scene where
and the bridge scene,
was like the
and
last
there's
person.
one car that hasn't made it,
And he saves it.
He saves it. Oh, what a concept!
Okay.
Fuck you, Andrew. You thought you had me.
No, I
thought
was-
you ate me out.
So with the rift, that's what they're talking about. People were allowed to evacuate the city. To where exactly? I don't know. All right. And how is it that they are they super fast or something? How are they able to do that while the rift is happening? The rift it's not like the rift, it's like an earthquake. You don't escape from a riff like that. So they wrote it in. Of course, the story is not supposed to make sense at all. The story makes no sense. So they evacuate. How exactly? We don't know. It's not a realistic world, right? So it's whatever goes. This is what James Gunn does. Now, in Metropolis, where the world engine is literally terraforming not just the entire planet, but Metropolis, where are people supposed to escape to? We see people trying to escape in Metropolis, but it's impossible. Similarly, because it's a grounded realistic film, you know. But we see that in Gunn's movie, unrealistically, people are supposed to evacuate. And the weird thing about it is when Superman's fighting the kaiju, nobody's evacuating. Everybody's using their phones. I don't know. They, to me, like I said before, that Superman movie is crap. So I haven't even seen it. Like I said before, I'm talking about something I haven't even seen. That farmer's dream is all some people have. That's what gives them hope. Restore the Snyder Verse. I agree. Our chief says it becomes clear to me that there's a section of Superman fans that could go watch a movie about Superman flying over Metropolis with Diarrhea and creaming the top of the Daily Planet, and that would come out the other side and start posting the best Superman ever. So hopeful. Diarrhea is the new punk rock. Superman's about kindness. Now I'm going to stalk, name call, and harass anyone who doesn't like it. I am punk rock. Yep, the hypocrisy. And not only that, but you see the Russos. I saw Joe Russo. Unbelievable. Joe Russo talking about people being monkeys after Gunn put it in the movie. And I'm like, dude, you being a monkey right now. You're being a monkey because monkeys troll, monkeys, internet monkeys, basically attack other people, and you're attacking other people. So you're being a fucking monkey. So, yeah, internationally, this movie's not doing well, and it's going to flop. And it's so funny to see Joe Russo involved there because it tells me a lot. Here it is. WB reported fudge numbers to make Superman movie look like a box office blockbuster to deceive the audiences after the backlash. Box office reduced by 61 million. Have you ever seen a studio behave like this before? Yep, there it is. And that's what I wanted to talk about. Ben W. I'm human. Can't you tell I'm human by how much I'm yelling? Please calm down. The thing about it is, as so many people acknowledged, it is not up to Superman to testify of his humanity. It is for people to see his humanity and then testify of it. So once again, an L there. We had one chance at an adult run of DC movies with its biggest heroes. It was obvious the people in charge wanted to appeal to children and adults who still think like them. This comic book crap has run its course. In a dream, they took me to the light. A beautiful lie. The thing about it is, Leonidas, thing about it is this, and I'm going to wrap this up real quick. This is going to be my stream. The thing about it is this, Leonidas. Comics and comic books are not exclusively written for children. However, the attitude in Hollywood towards comic book movies, towards comic books, they don't think of comic books as actual literature. A lot of these people who think of comic books and comic book movies think of it as pulp fiction, meaning pulp is from wood, so paper, fiction. They think of cartoons and comics the same way they think of Looney Tunes. They think that comics are stupid. They think it's for kids, like, Santa Claus and fables. And so because they know that comics are works of fiction, they don't deem them in the same light as novels. And when we say graphic novel, some people are offended by that. So for these people to think, especially, and most of these people have never read comics, that comics must have comedy. must have levity in them to be comics, must be things that are not taken seriously, is the fundamental reason why they do not understand comics, why we keep on getting this crap, this trash, because their attitude towards comics is, that's not, that's just something to make a blockbuster out of. Had they ever read a single comic, they would realize comics have within them the environment or the day's issues and topics. Comics are very political things. And while it is fantasy, so there's elements of the fantasy that will seem to some people ridiculous, like a man flying in the sky seems ridiculous to some people. They are grounded in truths about a world, and most importantly, most comics take themselves very seriously, just as how anime, which is what this new generation has come from, speaks on deeper issues and things for us to think about, and concepts and ideas beyond what we think is possible, so that it helps the mind to imagine, it helps the mind to conceive certain ideas and thoughts. And that's what the fantasy is about. Anime and comics, generally speaking, take themselves seriously. Most comic books and most comics take themselves seriously. Graphic novels take themselves seriously. There are very few comics out there where comedy is one of the foundations and levity of the comic. There are few and far between. We have characters who are comical within comics that may provide levity. Superman is not one of them. Superman is a sacred comic character. In the first Superman movie that Richard Donner did, Superman was treated with dignity and respect, regardless of some of the cringe-worthy stuff he was talking and creepy stuff. It was still carried over with dignity, with a certain degree of refinement. This Superman is fucking Star-Lord. Gunn tried to make a poor man Superman, a ragtag Superman, an underdog Superman, and came up with Star-Lord. Came up with Peacemaker in a Superman movie. That's really Guardians of the Galaxy, Volume 4. And disrespected the character throughout the movie. So after you do something like that, I'm sure the executives, they were rolling in their seats. They're laughing out loud because most of these executives are anti-human. They don't care. They don't care for people. They only care about themselves. They're narcissists. So I'm sure they're rolling in their seats laughing about this movie. And they put it out to the world. David Zaslav's probably rolling in his seat saying, oh yeah, this is going to be the best thing ever. Because it pokes fun at something that's sacred to everyone. Superman. And I hope that when this movie flops, they would learn the lesson that you don't do that to Superman. Aaron Fisher says, you can have all the positive reviews in the world, but if people are not paying for your product, you'll go out of business. Yep, pretty much. As my good friend Ryan Reynolds said, those shit fucks down the street those shit fucks down the street keep on fucking up DC and fucking up good people in DC who actually would have elevated the DC brand. In my opinion, the DC brand is trash. And I hope this coming weekend emphasizes on the trash that people were watching. I really do sincerely hope that. Aquaman is not canon to Zack Snyder's Justice League. Yeah, we know. They ripped up the original script after Zack was fired, and it's that simple. We don't even need to go into the fact that Tom Curry's dead in Snyder's story. Yep. John's fucked over the original script, and Juan had to take his notes. These fuckers sabotaged the Snyder Verse, of which Aquaman should have been a continuation of. Mira's parents, too, along with a bunch of low-quality aesthetic changes. Atlantean aesthetic, Arthur's eye color, tattoos, general demeanor, irreverence of the material. Correct. I'm disappointed in Jason for lying when he said that the Aquaman film was in canon with Zack Snyder's Justice League. That's correct. They tried to ride Zack Snyder. This is what these people do. It's insane how so many people need zero proof to believe in a lie, but need endless proof in order to accept the truth. Well said, Clay Staub. This is my final one. Can't believe Cavill Superman would just be willing to help Darkseid. There's totally nothing else that would cause that. So, what does the S stand for? In my world, it means conquer, enslave people, and rape women, right? This is, a fan says that. So Salbers19 Gunt says, it's funny because this Superman rejects those ideas while Cavill Superman canonically helps Darkseid take over Earth. I'm not sure if he means canonically in terms of the Snyderverse or if he's talking canonically in terms of comics. But as we all know, Superman got influence under the anti-life equation. But here's the interesting thing. It took Lewis's death for him to turn that way. Whereas, from the get-go, Jor-El's parents in this, whatever you want to call this thing, this theme park ride, were commanding him to conquer Earth and to rape women, right? So, whereas Superman had an honorable background in the Snyderverse with Jor-El and Laura Van and Jonathan and Martha, in this universe, this Superman has bumpkins as parents, and he got evil, wicked, dark side like parents as Kryptonians, right? Might as well be General Zod, you know? That's how crazy it is. So he's saying that, this Superman rejects those ideas. He didn't reject the ideas. He found out about the idea after the fact. And the movie does not address whether he accepts or rejects it. It doesn't even address the issue. That's the problem. Just a quick appeal here. Abdullah Omar, he's saying his family needs $1,000 a day just to eat bread. If you guys can supply some kind of money to him, he's very hungry. So hopefully you guys can help out with that. Remember when a Chinese girl called someone a monkey, a common insult in the country? And these same people double themselves in nuts and call her racist. Weird how that works. This is Joe Russo. Snyder Bros are now saying the box office numbers are fake because it continued a strong momentum throughout the week. Man of Steel had like a 70% drop in the second weekend. Imagine thinking you're that important to a multi-billion-dollar company that a multi-billion company is falsifying documents for you. Bananas, because they're monkeys. So Joe Russo, a known director, is calling us monkeys when we have evidence that they falsified the international box office numbers by $61 million. but we're monkeys. And my boy, Release the Snyder Cut says, because it was never about words, it was about the person. We saw this many times with many people who fought for the Snyder Cut. See, they tried to destroy Fiona Zhang. Fiona Zhang was the one that called the guy a monkey. And it's interesting how now James Gunn can try to target Snyder fans and call them monkeys, or anyone who calls Superman super shit, because it is super shit. It is really that. It's super shit. And again, the aggressive Gunn fans. And all of this is only going to end up making the flop so much sweeter. Because when it flops, let me say this. When this movie flops, I'm going to ask these very vile, vindictive monkeys this question. Was it really worth it? Was it really worth it? Do you think by being negative, by being evil, by being wicked, by trying to bully people, did you think that that was going to make this movie do well? Really? You want to be like Snyder fans, but you don't know how to be like Snyder fans. Snyder fans got the Snyder Cut. Snyder fans were able to propel Man of Steel and BVS to high box office numbers, something your movie will never do. It won't even pass Man of Steel box office numbers. In fact, it won't even pass $500 million. Your movie is going to struggle. And all because of your vile, toxic attitude. You were vile and toxic with the Suicide Squad, and then all of a sudden you just disappeared off the scene. Then you came back like a cancer, like an infection. And we know it's not much of you. You do not behave like Superman. James Gunn doesn't behave like Superman. His Superman doesn't behave like Superman. You say that kindness is the newest punk rock, but you're not being kind. You're calling people monkeys, Joe Russo. And here I thought you were a good person. I thought you were cool. But you and James Gunn belong hand in hand with Joss Whedon and Jeff Johns. Y'all are all foul, vile, nasty people. You're not nice people. You're not nice people. And we're getting to see it. Everything's coming to the surface. Warner Brothers is not a nice studio. They're evil, they're grimy, they're nasty. They'll lie. They'll cheat. They'll steal to try to get their way because they're desperate. And in their desperation, they reveal who they really are to the world. I saw somebody talking about, oh, there's Palestine in there. There's Palestine. Some of these people are so brain dead. Yes, the allegory can be Russia, Ukraine. It can be Israel, Palestine. But the problem is, and it's something that you're not grasping, is it never tells us the root cause of the problem and why Superman chose to deal with the situation. So you say it could be Palestine, Israel, okay, but who's Palestine? Who's Israel, really? And what's the root cause? And why did Superman pick a side? These are real issues that y'all are not willing to have a discussion on because James Gunn wasn't going to go that deep. And while I'm happy that in the zeitgeist, Palestine is mentioned or it's referred to sort of like, that's no reason to support this shit of a movie because Superman is so disrespected in this movie, it really doesn't matter that this is brought up because his handling of the situation has nothing to do with saving the people in the area. He doesn't even save the people in the area. The Bat Channel says, let me get this straight. There are now content creators saying that a film doesn't need to be profitable to be successful. Good luck with that business motto. Yep, that's Mr. John Campia shilling for the studio. He said, no, Superman doesn't even need to be profitable. It doesn't even need to break even. That's what he said. When I heard that, I was like, Jesus Christ. You are really all the way up Gunn's ass. You're buried in his ass. You're not in reality. At least you got to break even. Otherwise, that whole model has to be disbanded. And why would John Campia want to see a drunken Supergirl? Are you fucking serious? So we trash Superman, and next we go on and trash Supergirl. And you're cool with that, John Campia. Get the fuck out of here, John Campia. Get the fuck out of here. I mean, this guy is straight up insulting DC characters. And y'all are fucking cool with that. He just disrespected Superman. And the only people going into cinemas to see this Superman movie are Americans. The rest of the world's like, I don't want that shit. Dumb, stupid guntards and executives and shills are going in and saying this movie is good. It's a great movie. People who have no brain cells in their brains. Everybody else is like, that's a piece of shit. And I don't want to see it. And that's a disgrace to Superman. All right, that's my wrap up right here. Hey, if you guys are going to see Smurfs over the weekend, cool. They're supposed to be working with the UN and UNICEF. Speaking up for a better world for every child. You know, there's a lot of children dying in Palestine right now. It's horrible out there. So I'm not telling you to support Smurfs because of that. No, not at all. But I would say this. Smurfs actually looks like a better movie than Superman. It is an animated film, but it actually looks kind of funny, and I would advise you guys to go see it anyway. That's what I got for now. Taika Waititi's tackling Judge Dredd movie in a hawk package hitting Hollywood. I've never seen the entire internet united like they are today and unanimously rejecting a Taika-directed Judge Dredd movie. I feel like his ego and Thor Love and Thunder cost him a lot of fans and respect. Wild to see such a 180 on him. Yeah, but they're about to reject James Gunn too. Because he got this butt farm with Casey Bloys leading the charge. You know, trying to attack people and stuff. And he's got some other compatriots, you know, across the river, trying to support him as well. But man, I can't wait for this fucking film to flop. And you know, I never thought I would be somebody who it's not that I'm wishing for the film to flop. I'm not wishing for it. But I know it's going to flop, so that's why I'm saying that. But I don't wish for films to flop per se. I want to make that abundantly clear. We can see Warner Brothers doing all these acrobatics and leaps and jumps and jumping through hoops and shit because they know what's coming. You know? Anyways, that's what I got for you guys. I got to get out of here. Go do my day. KC Miami Vice Era says, sorry, but I'm not buying that the same people who spent 9 years mocking the death of a director's daughter are suddenly decent people because they watched a movie made by a guy who had more racist tweets than Donald Trump. I agree. Brother, I agree. So on that note, also Mohammed Jawad, they need help as well. If you guys can go to their Twitter and help them out. The little girl, you see how small she is now. She's been crying a little bit. The father's trying to comfort her. Poor little thing. So please, guys, try and help out where you can. The donation place is there. Everything's very expensive inside of Gaza right now. People keep on rushing for food and getting killed. The West Bank is in a mess. These are people just like you and me. They're just normal people who just want to live their lives. Please help them out. Please don't move away from this video and not do something for them. Hey, Snyder fans, let's do something to help out Palestine collectively. It's just for the people in Palestine. We're not playing politics. We don't care about Hamas. We don't care about, IDF. We just want to help these people. Guys, let's muster up an event to raise some money to try and send some of that money to some of these people in there. All right? It really hurts me a lot because I know, oh God, it's so hard to watch. It's very hard to watch. Release the Snyder Cut says, and you see the Palestinian flag. The bad news is starting to filter through. Your average Twitter butt isn't that good with understanding that there's more to box office than surface level numbers. It was clear that this movie was destined for failure when those first international numbers came out. They can't hide the truth anymore. Henry Cavill's Superman, while it's closed. Superman might not be the franchise launching movie we thought it would be. Latest Superman box office results could spell bad news for the future of the DCU, sorry. Kindness is the new punk rock. So this guy says, I'm battling a serious lung disease. What supports me through this painful journey is Henry Cavill's Superman. I'm going to see this new Superman movie, and I'm looking forward to it. But for me, Henry Cavill's Superman will always be the one and only Superman. And to that, Gun Control says, you enjoyed Man of Steel. Laughs, I hope you die. Kindness is the new punk rock. That's so kind, isn't it? A guntard. A gunt. The Gunts are very toxic people. Very, very toxic people. And it's sad. But their director is also a very toxic person. And the movie he made is quite toxic of Superman. Just like how Joss Whedon's toxic movie, being toxic towards Superman, messing up his face, being toxic towards Wonder Woman, being toxic towards Batman. You see it being toxic towards Cyborg and very bad treatment of Ray Fisher. You see that toxicity coming up on screen. And I don't know how you guys can support a guy who he tells the lead actor of Superman, shut the fuck up. That's what he says to David Cornsweet. And Gunn is on record saying he said that to him. And that's the kind of toxicity that we're dealing with. That's the kind of environment we're dealing with on the set of Superman. Richard Donner had a relationship with Christopher Reeve. Zack Snyder had a relationship with Henry Cavill. That's what made their movies box office success. James Gunn has a toxic relationship with David Cornsweet. And the fact that he said, shut the fuck up to David Cornsweet is not good. David Cornsweet is a consummate professional. And so he did what James Gunn wanted him to do. I want to say that I hope no negative ramifications happen to David Cornsweet. David Cornsweet doesn't deserve the negative connotations for his following instructions of what James Gunn wanted of him for his Superman. I just hope that David will be wiser in the future about his choices of taking certain characters based on certain directors. That's all I hope he does. I think David could have been a great Superman if he had the proper direction. Like I said before, Henry Cavill in the hands of Josh Whedon versus Henry Cavill in the hands of Zack Snyder. Henry Cavill in the hands of Black Adam's director with Henry Cavill in the hands of Zack Snyder. Superman is a actor-director collaboration. You got to get a special actor who could do Superman, but you also have to have a special visionary director to direct Superman. And these creative things don't just happen overnight. It's not something. Superman is one of the hardest characters to pull off on the big screen. It's just what it is. Very difficult. The Hulk is another one. Okay. And the reason is because Superman's extremely powerful, but he cares so much about humanity. He cares about human beings. And his weakness is his care for human beings. That's where he's weak. To destroy Superman, you have to get him emotionally. It's not about physical destruction. Gunn tried to flip it. He tried to say, oh, emotionally, Superman's pretty consistent, even though he rants and raves and he's a flawed individual like Star-Lord. But physically, he's not strong. So Gunn tried to flip the switch on it. But yet you come in the prelude and you say that Superman is the strongest, the most powerful being in the universe. And then when we see the most powerful being in the universe, he don't look like the most powerful being in the universe because he's getting the ass kicked all the time. Anyways, that's what I got for you guys. I am Christ. I am disciple. You guys have a good one.